Yeah.
And I'm going to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Jim Eskin, and on behalf of Eskin Fundraising Training, it is my pleasure to invite you to number 47. I think if you were a football player, that's a pretty good number to wear. In our nonprofit empowerment webinar series, this one is on celebrities and nonprofits, and I'm really looking forward to this show. Our celebrity, I'm going to just, introduce Josh as an ambassador for swimming because really all his life he has trained, he has competed and won at the highest levels. He's coached, he's taught, he's spoken, and I bet he swallowed a lot of water. So, Josh, first of all, who's in Edmond, California, Oklahoma, how is the Davis family doing?
Thanks so much, Jim, for having me on the show. It's great to get to visit with you and everybody. We're doing great here in Edmond, Oklahoma. It's a nice suburb just north of Oklahoma City. We're finally getting some nice weather, and my family's healthy and well. I actually got COVID a month ago, but thankfully it only hit me for 2 or 3 days, and I'm as good as normal, good to go, and it didn't affect any of my other family. And so I'm doing great. I'm the college coach here in town, and I get to travel around the country in non-COVID years, teaching kids and doing programs around the country as an ambassador, like you said. And really glad to be with you here today.
Thank you, Josh. I'm going to start. Let's have some fun. I'm going to call these the wild card questions, okay? Because I think in my next life, I want to be a professional interviewer, not an amateur interviewer. So, my first question is to you, Josh. How many laps do you guesstimate that you have swum in your life?
I realized I think it's about 4 million laps.
Can
And
you repeat that? Can you repeat that?
yeah, it's around 4 million. So
Wow. I wasn't expecting that much.
it's kind of a lot. So it's
Al Hartman, how many lifetime laps do you have swum?
I'm trying to finish my second.
Well, Josh would tell you you're moving in the right direction. Okay, my second wild card question to Josh is, let's face it, most of us, not only will we not win Olympic medals, I mean, there aren't even the equivalent of Olympic medals for our work, especially in the nonprofit arena. But, we think our jobs are very important in touching, improving, and saving lives. And if there's anything your life has proved, it's the rewards of an amazing work ethic. So, what's your advice to our nonprofit friends on applying the Josh Davis work ethic to their endeavors in the nonprofit sector?
wow, what a great question, Jim. I think a great motto is just showing up and then just doing one more. And that was the team motto that I had for my college team this year, because it was such a crazy year. There's a lot of unknowns and a lot of uncertainty and a lot of anxiety. And I told my team, just show up. Just show up, and you're going to warm up. You're going to get into it. And then when we get to the hard stuff, just take it one at a time. So let's do one hard thing. Let's do one more phone call, or one more thank you letter, or one more email. And then let's do just one more.
Yeah.
And then let's do just one more. And so that was our motto, is just show up and just one more. And that has really served me well back when I was in high school and college, and then as a pro swimmer in my 20s and into my 30s. Like, okay, just show up, just one more. And it wasn't that I was so fast or so strong or so smart. I just didn't stop. I just didn't give up. And so I think that's a big principle, to not give up. And I'm not perfect at it. I have lots of off days, but that's what I love about mornings. I love the mornings. It's a new day. It's a new chance. It's a new opportunity. And so every day we got to show up and do just one more. And we're going to have lots of off days, but just keep showing up.
Okay, and I got a couple more questions I'm been begging to ask. You have won, count on this hand, 5 Olympic medals, 3 gold and 2 silver. Winning which medal meant the most to you?
Great question. I have my 3 gold medals right here.
Oh,
So there's the three of them.
Oh,
And
man.
they're real 22 karat gold. You can see the goddess Nike on the front. She's the goddess of victory and fair play. So this was the 4x200. This was the first one. It's very special. The first one's always really special. And I'll never forget that moment, singing the anthem, looking at the flag, thinking of all my parents, my brothers, my teammates, my teachers. I know we have some Churchill folks and former teachers on the show right now.
Right.
And that's what I thought about when I was up on the podium singing the anthem, is how thankful I was for everybody in my life that helped support me and make it possible. And the second one, we touched out the Russians just by a few 100ths and got the Olympic record. And the third one was a nice bonus. It was just a great week. The first one is always the most special.
I got to tell you, I mean, it is even exciting for us who watch it on TV. But what is the best part of winning a gold medal?
Lots of free food. But seriously, it has given me a wonderful opportunity to give back to kids. That's really my greatest joy in life, is to use these gold medals and to use this platform to help others, to help teach kids. And I learned a long time ago that one of the secrets to contentment in life is serving others and helping others. That's why I appreciate what you do, Jim, so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, so I love when I can impact a young person and help what I've learned helps them. So it's the best feeling in the world. I found out what feels better than winning a gold medal. It's helping someone else reach their potential.
Wow, what a beautiful thought. By the way, this is not a photo of Josh swimming the first of his 4 million miles, but I also had to get this question in. And I'm wrestling it myself. I gave up swimming in an outdoor pool last year. Maybe I was too cautious. What would you advise people about swimming this summer in either indoor or outdoor pools?
Go do it. Go do it, especially an outdoor pool. A lot of pools, to do your laps, you have to sign up and register for your lane so they can spread everybody out. So most of the pools are really good about keeping everybody spread out. But the best thing you can do is swim for 20, 30, 40 minutes and work your lungs, work your heart. And it's a chlorine clean environment. Those viruses don't have a chance in that chlorine environment and that fresh air. It is the best place in the universe to be. It's a 30-minute swim in an outdoor pool. So go do it.
Okay, and that's from the ambassador for swimming. We've set 3 learning objectives. One is to learn Josh's story, and then we're going to give him a few minutes. He teaches the core 7 principles, and I think that's the best way you can learn about Josh Davis. And finally, too, for you new nonprofits, we're going to have a Q&A of how to identify, recruit, and engage learning celebrities. I'd like to bring on a new member of our learning community. No, actually, he's not a new member. Let me make sure. David Catramborn. Help me again, David.
Catrombone.
Catramborn. Okay, he's Director of Development with the School of Public Health and Health Sciences at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. Beautiful campus, and their nickname is the Minutemen. So what would you like to learn about celebrities and nonprofits over the course of the next hour?
Jim, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Josh, a pleasure to finally meet you as well. And that third bullet kind of talks a little bit to what I wanted to know, because we're a school of public health and health sciences. We don't necessarily have celebrities within our school. Maybe we do at UMass, but not within our school. So I was wondering how to best engage somebody like Josh and leverage their celebrity status to help support my institution's fundraising objectives.
Okay, David, we'll be sure to work that question in. By the way, Al, we got you on screen. Do you want to add a question? Give us some more homework for the next hour?
I'm going to listen, do what I should be doing and listen. I don't have a specific question now, but thank you.
Okay. I'm going to skip through a little here, Josh. We talk about fundraising, and as your father will tell you, I had the opportunity to work with absolutely fearless businessmen and community leaders in the various nonprofit employers I had. And they were fearless with one exception, Josh. It wasn't when beating you for the Olympic medal. It was asking for a gift. And so I like to think of most fear is based on fear of the unknown, and that we as practitioners need to do a better job of what I call demystifying the art and science of fundraising. And that's why I launched and I'm having a great time, Eskin Fundraising Training. We do weekly Wednesday webinars. The next week is going to be on how to get your first $1 million gift. Al Hartman wins a star. I think we started out with live workshops at the Microsoft store, and then when COVID hit around last March, we shifted to the webinar format. And I'm going to skip through here a couple, because the thing I want to emphasize to our nonprofit partners: keep on asking. Philanthropy and the economy are strong. Sure, there are some trouble spots, but people like Mike Davis will teach you there is no better predictor than philanthropy, than the stock market. It's had a bumpy week, but it's at record levels. We have data in showing that actually giving in 2020 was up 11% over 2019. Josh, in the philanthropy world, we have labeled Mackenzie Scott our new Wonder Woman. She came out of nowhere to give away $6 billion last year to something like 384 underserved nonprofits. She specifically targeted African American, Hispanic, and tribal American universities and food banks. Here in San Antonio, the Alamo colleges received $20 million. So she has a standing invitation. She can break into this show anytime she wants. And I'll tell you what, Josh, I'm going to skip here. We want to emphasize, by the way, most of the nonprofits, there are 1.5 million in the country. There are 100,000 in the great state of Texas. There are 6,000 in the great city of San Antonio. Most of them have budgets, as you see here, under $500,000. So most of our audience is the small to mid-sized nonprofit. And by the way, we have a tradition at this point. We like everyone to type into the chat space, nonprofit strong. And I will ask you, Josh, what are we?
I think you're muted right now, John. There you go.
Is it nonprofit strong?
Yep.
Did I get the right answer?
Yes, perfect answer, by the way. I'll tell you what, you teach the core 7 principles. I have some slides here. And before we go to our Q&A about the engagement of celebrities, you teach this. And I think this is the best way to let them inside Josh Davis. So we're going to go over, I'm going to give you maybe up to 45 seconds per slide. Could you, or maybe a little longer, could you talk a little about your 7 core principles?
Yeah, let's rifle through these really fast. They've helped me the last 30 years in become the best swimmer. I think they'll help us become the best fundraiser and business person that we can be. Number 1 is finesse, which means technique. It's all about technique and protocols and doing things in the right order in the right way. And just like every sport has the great ones, they just make it look easy. It's Tim Duncan, the big fundamental, or the golfers with their perfect swing, or Michael Phelps with his perfect stroke. They make it look easy because of years of fine-tuning their skills and honing their strokes. And it's really about the technique and finding the principles that work and finding best practices and expanding our networks. Never stop. It's efficiency. It's streamlining, and efficiency is the key to that. Number 2 is fitness, and that's just grit, determination, hard work. In swimming, we swim 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon, an hour of weights. So that was my schedule for 14 years. 4 hours.
By the way, we can qualify in the fitness category. We fall short of 4 million laps, I hope.
That's okay. That's okay. You only need 30 minutes a day, but you got to be tough. They say it takes about 5 to 6 hours a day of solid work, of 10,000 hours total, or 10 years to reach a mastery level. And so that's called the 10,000 hour rule. Number 3 is flexibility.
I think that's a Malcolm Gladwell. Was that the tipping point or something? Or
Malcolm Gladwell has a great chapter about it.
Yeah. We can talk about that. Okay.
And then flexibility. You just want to have a range of motion and be able to recover well. Number 4 is fueling. This is really about nutrition. Guys and ladies, my job for the USA team to get from one side of the pool to the other was really important to me. But in the big scheme of things, it's not that big a deal. But I was going to fuel my body as best I could to represent the USA. And what you guys do is just as important, if not more important, than me swimming laps. So you want to eat right, you want to sleep right, you want to take care of your awesome machine so that you can work hard and serve more people. So take care of yourself with the fuel. Number 4, where are we on? Number 5 is, this is now we switch to mental, fun and focus. You've got to set goals, you've got to be focused, but you also need to make it fun. And a thought becomes an attitude becomes an action becomes a habit produces your character produces your life destiny. Wow, your life destiny all started back with a simple thought. So thoughts are powerful, and your mental mindset is very, very important. So attitude of gratitude is what I like to have, and that sets me on course for a great day and a great year. Number 6 is family and friends.
And by the way, I can take a question away. You have a rather large family. Is it 6 kids? Tell us about your wife and 6 kids.
Yeah, my wife Chantel is amazing and very gifted and talented. We have 6 kids, ages 23, 22, 20, 18, 16, and 4. Whoops.
Oh my.
So we've got 5 and 1 for a total of 6, and we have a great time. And so yeah, I have 3 other siblings, so I'm so grateful for the large family that I have, and we have a good time. But I've learned a long time ago that the quality of relationships produces the quality of your work. They really go hand in hand. And then finally, number 7 is faith, being spiritually strong. So you want to be physically strong, mentally strong, emotionally strong, and spiritually strong. And when you know God loves you, and that love is poured into your life, you're able to pour that love into others. And so it's really, really helpful when you got God in your corner. And all of us have access to that. Why would you not want to access that incredible sorts of encouragement and love and power to give to others? So that's the 7 habits of highly effective.
I think I gave you an extra 12 seconds. So appreciate you keeping us. We're right on time. Let's go to our Q&A. And Michael Largent, let me introduce our producer who is with Game Day Media. If people want to type in a question or the chat space, or better yet, we'd like to see their lovely mugs, how can they come on screen?
Yeah, so since we switched to doing this instead of a webinar format, we're doing it in a meeting format. Whenever Jim and Josh ask for questions, you can just unmute your mic and turn on your camera and ask them that way. And that's the best way to ask the questions so we can get the interaction. But if you don't want to do that, you can also just type them into the chat space below.
So we'd rather see you. And I'll tell you what, Josh and I talk, we want to get as many audience questions in. I mean, I have a lot of questions for him, but I'll even start now. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to start with a question?
Joel Batowski.
Joel Batowski is from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. How long did you serve in the military?
26.5 years.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Josh, what are your 3 major values by priority in your life? The 3 top priorities of your life.
And what a great question. I guess I just have to say, God, family, and work. And I think when I keep things in that priority, it usually goes okay. But, and then 4thly is my health. So yeah, I'm not, if I put some time into those 4 things every day, I think it's going to be a nice long career. But what a great question, Joel. I appreciate that. And to be honest, I hadn't looked at that in a long time. I need to remind myself of my values, because I lead a college team. So I'm always harping on my college swimmers about what the team values are and what they need to be doing. And so I appreciate you challenging me to remind me of what I need to be doing.
Thank you.
For me, it's similar to yours. God, family and friends, and country. God bless America.
Amen. It's the best.
Thank you, Joe.
I love it. I love it.
You're looking at somebody who's heard that anthem in a pretty special time. Hey, Josh, let's move to our Q&A. How do you pick nonprofits that you're going to support?
Great question.
You know, I love any nonprofit that provides a unique and quality service, but I really appreciate it when it does something for, you know, say underprivileged folks, you know, or just folks that are just struggling. You know, maybe it's single moms, or maybe it's kids, or maybe it's underprivileged kids. So I really have a heart for the kids. I really have a heart for, you know, for folks in some underserved areas. So I really appreciate nonprofits to do that. But to be honest, anytime I come across a nonprofit with some really quality people, really smart, kind, hardworking people, it's really satisfying to be able to partner with them. So, but you know, my heart's with the kids. I love working with kids.
That sort of leads into the next question. What part of your work with nonprofits do you enjoy the most? And then the next question is, what part do you enjoy the least?
Well, I love when I can be hands-on with the people that they get to help, and get to meet people, and to be there in person. Be honest, the hard part, because it's the good part is it's very satisfying for the soul when you see the good work it's done, and that's what I love about nonprofits. So much of the money and energy is going to the real world stuff, the real help, really making a difference for people in their communities. But the you know, the one little negative is that sometimes the budgets aren't the same as some high, you know, some big corporation. So as a professional speaker, sometimes, you know, I get paid more at the corporate gigs, but don't get paid as much at the nonprofit gigs, which is okay, because if I balance my schedule out, where I have some nice big corporate stuff and I have my favorite nonprofit stuff, it all works together in the end. So it's a very small negative, and it sounds a little selfish, but it's just the realities that I lessen the value of my time so that I can be a part of something bigger than myself. It's really providing a great service.
And I'll tell you what, you perfectly always lead into the next question. You're a motivational speaker. What do you like speaking about?
Well, I love stories of overcoming adversity. And obviously I love telling my gold medal story, and that was a wonderful story. I won the gold. I'm a regular guy from kind of a regular town, and with 10 years of hard work, I got the gold medal, and it was awesome. And there was definitely some obstacles, but most of us don't live on those mountaintops. Most of us are just kind of going through the ups and downs of life. And so I appreciate any story where someone overcomes some adversity and some tough times, because I think that's what most people can relate to. Not everybody can relate to winning a gold medal, but I think everybody can relate to persevering and overcoming some adversities, and how they did that with a good attitude and helping people along the way. So I love those kind of stories, and I love getting to speak on those things in my life and other Olympians' lives and other fun stories like that.
You know what comes to mind is the images of the Special Olympics. When you see that, everyone is a gold medal winner who competes.
Yes. I always joke, there's the Junior Olympics, there's the Senior Olympics, and then there's the real Olympics, but the best event of all is the Special Olympics. I got to hand out awards one day for 7 hours at a Special Olympics. And I was smiling, laughing, crying the whole day. It was unbelievable to see their effort and their attitude and their excitement and their gratitude. It changes your life.
You know, I'll put in a little plug that the Special Olympics literally started in the backyard of Eunice and Sergeant Schreiber, and they grew it to what it is today. Hey, I bet you've had to get used to giving a lot of virtual speeches. So tell us, after a year now, what do you like about virtual speeches, and what do you less than like?
I don't mind it at all, because I just enjoy, you know, communicating and telling a story. But I do miss the in-person connection with people, of really seeing people's faces and really reading the audience, really being able to connect in a real personal way. But no, it's way better than nothing to connect like this, and to still, you know, see your faces, virtually, digitally, is still better than nothing, and still very, very important to the human soul. It's not ideal, but it's still the next best option.
And I think it's going to be fascinating what the next year or two looks like. And it could be very much a hybrid type of model.
Yeah, I think Joel has a question.
Yeah, Joel. Okay. Sorry. Thanks.
Okay, Josh, if you were told today that you had a month to live, what would you want to do with the remaining time?
Great question.
Joel, thanks for the easy questions.
Yeah, obviously I'd spend time with family as much as possible. But my happiest part of the day is my 30-minute swim. So I'm wondering, would I give that up? Or would I just go spend more time with family, or would I eat at my favorite restaurants? I don't know. But, I kind of have an eternal perspective. I know that the best is yet to come when we get to heaven. So I don't think I would worry too much about trying to experience all the things here outside family and my normal routines, because I do like my routine. I like the people I'm around. I like my daily swim. I love my family. So I don't think I'd change all that much. But definitely spend more time with family, of course. What a great question. Holy cow.
Gosh, I think Joel and I are pretty much from the same generation. Joel, I swear I remember a Twilight Zone episode with that premise. Hey,
Oh yeah.
do we still have Mike Davis here, by the way?
I think they cut out for a little bit, or maybe they were just listening.
I went
They
out.
might be just
Yeah.
listening.
Well, let me follow
There they
up.
are. There they are. They're here. Jim, they're here.
Okay, great. As you know, Josh, your father is one of the most respected and accomplished fundraisers that I know, and I know a lot of them. My wife will tell you I know too many of them, okay? And the funny thing is, I was telling Josh this before, we must have had lunch, I don't know, 10, 15 times we'd get together. I don't think we ever talked sports, and we never talked Josh Davis. We were just too busy talking fundraising. So my question, Josh, is what did you learn from fundraising from one of the masters?
Well, I've always loved watching my dad with people and watching how he, can give a speech or MC a meeting or turn a joke. And I love that. And I love how he builds bridges with people. And so I've tried to emulate that, and it's served me well to follow him like that. And, but I'm a little sad because I never was behind closed doors seeing him close the deal or make the big ask.
It's
So
like
that's what-
sausage. It's like sausage making. You don't want to see it.
Yeah, it's like I don't. That's where I'm weak is some of the big deal closers. But no, I learned a great deal from my dad that you just treat everybody equally. You treat everybody well, because you got to treat them well on your way up, because everybody kind of comes back down. And so if you treat people the same and you're honest, you got nothing to worry about.
Okay, Josh, let's go to a real tough one. What advice do you have for nonprofits who want to recruit celebrities to support their missions?
Yeah. There's just, I think there is some great leverage to be had when using a celebrity, whether it's a sports celebrity or an Olympic celebrity. There is some things that transcend a lot of people groups, and you can use that to get the message out, not just locally, but globally, because in this day and age with social media, many of these celebrities, whether it's just one of the famous person for just being famous, or if it's a sports celebrity who are good at sports, or an entertainer type person, they have a following. They have a group of people beyond yours, and you can really leverage that, with the social media, with the Instagram, with the Facebook, and obviously with emails. You can use them to create some email content that you can build and do little snippets and various emails over time, and you can do some raffling. You can use them for a live event as well when those come back around. So there's just it really broadens your network. It really gets your message and your purpose out to more people. So it's really one of the most cost-effective ways you can to spread your message and your name by piggybacking with the network of that celebrity.
Hey, are you going to take difficult questions?
Sure, I can try
Okay.
my best.
Okay, well, I'll try my best too. What celebrities should nonprofits avoid recruiting?
Well, just because they're really good at sports or really good at music or really good at acting doesn't mean they're great with people on the stage and in person. So I think it behooves you to do a little vetting of their communication style and of their ability to work with people. And obviously the integrity and reputation thing and the communication thing really help. And can they deliver in person? Can they deliver, over a series of, social media video clips or email blasts? And so, yeah, you just got to do a little homework with their agent or with the speakers bureaus or whoever their middle people are, to see that they're going to fit your values and fit your audience and fit your goals for that campaign or for that event. A good question.
Um, you've worn several different hats. You've also been a sports broadcaster. What did you enjoy about sports broadcasting and journalism?
Well, swimming to me is my favorite sport, and I think very exciting. The hard work these young people do and the drama involved in the sport of swimming in these particular races. I love bringing that out for the regular folks watching this meet for the first time, or maybe for their parents or family members that are watching. So I love not only describing the race and what's happening, with their stroke and with their technique, but also sharing the background stories of what these swimmers have accomplished to be there. So I think it's really, really great when you have a good story to go along with the action you're watching on the screen. And swimming is the #1 most watched sport in the Olympics.
What's that again? I did not know that.
Yes, track, gymnastics, basketball, and swimming are the most watched in the Olympics. And it's swimming that actually gets the most TV time because we win the most medals.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. By the way, Michael, do we have anybody from the audience who would like to ask a question either through the chat space or better yet? I see
Al?
a hand from Al Hartman. You've been unusually silent this long.
That's a very interesting discussion. Now, Mr. Davis, I'm wondering, is it for celebrities, well-known public figures, is it part of the presentation? Do they charge, or do you expect a fee when you're making a presentation for a nonprofit?
That's a great question and really practical. I've done nonprofit campaigns for $500, and I've done them all the way up to $1,500 and everywhere in between. That's kind of my personal nonprofit range. Most celebrities and I'm not a big tier 1 celebrity. I'm kind of a tier 2, tier 3 celebrity. So if a corporation, normally I'd charge them $3,000, I'll just do half and just charge $1,500. But what that gets them is not only an in-person event, but it'll get an email campaign. It'll get, 5 to 10 pushes on their social media accounts. It can be a relationship that lasts, several months to a year. Now, if you're looking for a long-term engagement, either 6 months to a year or multi-year relationships with a celebrity, then the numbers can go up a little bit more. But a great example is there's a very famous Olympic swimmer girl named Dara Torres. She made it to 5 Olympics, and she's now in her 50s, but she looks 25. She's amazing, and she was on a bunch of infomercials. She's still a spokeswoman, and so she got hired. They only paid her $4,000. Normally she gets paid about $20,000 to $30,000. She only charged them $4,000 for this YMCA annual fundraising event. She went in person and spoke at the banquet, was doing the auction and just enjoying the auction. And all of a sudden there was this item, and she bid $4,000 for this item. She basically donated back her honorarium to the auction at the fundraising event. And the auctioneer said, "Hey, everybody, our celebrity just returned their honorarium for this thing. You guys really need to step it up and start shelling it out from your pockets because Dara just did this." And they had their record-breaking fundraiser she basically just returned her honorarium. So that can sometimes happen, and it just benefits everybody.
That's a
So-
great story. And you know, I'm thinking of like former presidents of the United States. They can choose to waive their fees, or I think it was President Reagan who once got $6 million for throwing out the opening pitch at a Japanese baseball game. But you know, they can do it for free, and they can get millions and millions of dollars. Josh, this one, when you've won 5 Olympic medals and you've had natatoriums, buildings named after you, you've signed autographs, you've appeared on TV, you have fans. How do you maintain a sense of humility?
Well, I've got Jesus, my wife, and my family and friends who knew me when I was regular, and and now I'm back to regular. I was Olympian for a while, and now I feel very mortal. But no, my dad modeled for me a real sincere enjoyment of life and people, no matter where you come from, no matter what you do. So yeah, so I have a lot of safeguards in my life to keep me humble, and you don't want to read your press too much, good or bad.
Right.
But
You make a good politician. That's a good. Hey, Michael, anybody else with questions? Is that,
We don't have any questions in the chat space, but yeah, if anybody has a
is
question right
that
now,
Joel?
oh, it
Do
looks
you
like
have
Joel.
another? Joel, we're going to give you, you've done so many of these. I'm going to give you two opportunities.
hey,
2
I
minutes.
like Joel. I like Joel's questions.
Yeah, he's a good swimmer too.
Yeah,
You got-
unmute and give it to me.
Yeah, here's my question. Josh, what is the biggest obstacle in your life? How did you overcome the most major obstacle in your life? Please explain.
And Joel, you got the good ones. I think, it's funny, here I have 5 medals and all these accolades like you mentioned before, and yet I still struggle with confidence or worrying what some people might think of me if I call them or ask for something, or if I, just trying to build a bridge with somebody, I still struggle with that.
And by the
And,
way, Josh is being humble, but he's still setting records for his over 40 group. I guess it's not too long before you'll get into the 45 to 50 group. No, you're in that group.
Yeah,
He's still setting records.
yeah, I'm still able to go pretty fast, thankfully. And so yeah, so here I am, a fast old guy, and got all this stuff. And
Full guy.
but I think everybody to some degree struggles with some self-confidence, or you just have some different fears or doubts or worries. And so I try and really put those where they belong. And my favorite acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real, FEAR. And most of the fears and doubts and worries that might be inhibiting us in business or in life or in relationships isn't even in reality. And so I would encourage any of you out there, because I need this encouragement too, build those bridges with people, reach out to people, build them up, ask how you can serve them. And then when it's time, make the ask and close the deal. And not that I'm an expert at it, but people want to be involved. People want to know how they can help. And I really believe that. And so I want to encourage you guys out there to just really put it out there.
Josh, you've done, I'm kind of jealous of you, of what you've accomplished before the age of 50. I'm more than jealous. I'm jealous on steroids. But a guy like you, is there anything left on your bucket list?
Well, I am content in a lot of ways. I have done a lot of neat things and traveled around the world and got all these kids and great family, and I feel very blessed for that. But I still feel like there's so much more I can do and learn. I'm developing my skills as a college coach now, and leading people is really a skill that takes a lot of effort and training and practice and accountability and feedback. And so that's my next, that's kind of my next chapter in my life right now is to learn how to be a good leader of people. I can always be a better leader of my family. So, you know, who knows where that leads in the future. But I'm kind of on this college coaching track. So maybe I move up in the college ranks eventually. But, you know, I don't know if politics is in my future. I don't know if nonprofit fundraising is in my future. But
I know where you can get good coaching.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think leadership, I'm just fascinated the power of leadership. And I think we get to see it in our different organizations, our different hierarchies of authority, how when you have effective leadership, what a difference it makes. And when you don't, how frustrating it can be. So anyway, that's my next stage, is to really develop myself as a leader, help to serve others, a leader to serve.
You talk about those who've gone before you. We've had Olympic gold medal swimmers gone into the movies, and I'm thinking Johnny Weissmuller, who won 5 gold medals, and of course, he's better known for Tarzan. So I don't know what your Tarzan call is like, but I give you a B+. That's pretty good. If I were prompting, B+.
I practice regularly. I love Johnny.
Hey, Michael, do we have any other questions? We're doing great on time, Josh.
It doesn't look like we have any in the chat, but like we said, if anybody has a question, you should be able to turn on your mic and
I'd like
your
to bring
webcam and ask.
David. Since David, have we fully, since you're a Minuteman from Amherst, David, have we fully answered your question? I'd like to bring him back on.
Yeah, no, maybe a little bit more detail, Jim, now that you mentioned it, because, you know.
On which part? Which part?
Well, I think the really, I totally get what Josh was talking about, how a relationship with a celebrity can be something for the short term. It can be something that you can use in multiple campaigns down the road as well. But how do you take somebody like Josh, and Josh, maybe you can speak to this, and you know, usually there's going to be a different type of message than swimming, right? We're a school of public health and health sciences. So how do you bring your inspiration, all your experience, and help us kind of whatever the mission is? It could be building, it could be scholarship. How do you help us grow those opportunities?
I'm thinking of my teammate was named Gary Hall Jr. He was the top sprinter in the world. We won the gold in '96 together. In '98, he came down with diabetes. He he got the insulin just right. He partnered with some companies, and he came back in 2000 faster than ever and won gold medals in 2000 and 2004. And he became a very successful spokesperson with various diabetes and pharmaceutical companies. And now he's a consultant to this day. So the last 20 years, he has really parlayed his own personal medical journey through diabetes into being a consultant and spokesman for many different companies related to that field, those fields. And it just was kind of a perfect storm for him, where, you know, the diabetes led him into this whole other, you know, opportunities. The other thought before it leaves my mind is there's a lot of celebrities now who can speak dual languages. And so you get a 2-for-1 on some of these deals where they can speak Spanish and English, and you're hitting a whole nother broad group of people. And but I think it really comes down to finding a good agent or good middleman or good speakers bureau that can help the athlete understand the relationship and where it's going. And I will give you a warning that there are some celebrities that, oh boy, how should I say it? It's just like all of us. They're busy, and you know, there's only so much they can absorb and apply at any given time. So to really prep them and to prepare them for that relationship, and, you know, allow them time to do their homework, to memorize the speaking points, to really learn the culture of what you guys are about, I think will make it much more natural and much more fluid and a much more authentic relationship. So yeah, not every athlete is going to do their homework when it comes to certain relationships. So it's good to vet that out. But I love when a company really explains to me, okay, these are our goals, these are our speaking points, this is how you can relate to this, and this is what we want you to share with the folks. So the more upfront communication, the better it will go in the actual event, the actual campaign.
You know,
So
Josh, the only celebrity I've ever had the joy of working with, the great tennis player Andy Roddick. I don't know if that rings a bell.
yeah,
from-
he's a great guy. He spent
Oh,
time in Austin, Texas when we lived in
yeah,
Austin
yeah.
together.
And he has a really, you met, he's very philanthropic. Anyway, I got to know his brother as a chiropractor, Lawrence, and he put us together and he said, you know, I was at Our Lady of the Lake University and they actually did a study. There were absolutely no West tennis courts in the 78207 zip code. In his dream, he gave us a six-figure gift, was to start a tennis program, not just for the university, but for the neighborhood kids. I'll never forget the day he came. By the way, he married Brooklyn Decker. By the way, he was a Sports Illustrated. I mean, they were this perfect couple. Josh, he did this demonstration. We got 3 volunteers that were more courageous than he. You know, at one time he was typed the time to have the fastest serve in the world, 154 miles an hour. I was
Wow.
watching it. It was like a rocket launching. But the story I wanted to make, our president was out of town. I was the vice president, so I was subbing, you know, and he has 2 brothers. They had one request. They wanted 6 ham and Swiss sandwiches and 2 pack of Budweiser. So I put that in the president's office and gave him a half hour because, you know, they did all these appearances and then spoke to our donors. And this I'll never forget from my life. You know, I went to take him down to the news conference and Andy looked at me and said, you know, me and my brothers made a mess there. Should we clean up? He honestly said that, you know.
Wow.
I will never forget that, the humility. And what I love about you is the humility. And I love you keep on coming back that you're just a regular guy. And maybe too, as big as the celebrities are in sports and entertainment, at some point they're just regular guys and women.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. You know, and sometimes, you know, life can, that kind of fame and that kind of power and that kind of influence can sometimes mess with your head a little bit and take you off course. But for the most part, there's some really great people out there that are just really sincere, really want to help others, and they've got these incredible talents that you know, help them share a message to a really wide audience, and it's fun to partner with them, and it's fun to take your message out with and through them.
I have a quick question if I can get.
Sheridan Lucas, who is the conscience of our media. Have you met Josh before?
No, and I'm so impressed, Josh. I'm in full compassion. I'm a journalist now, but I'm hoping that St. Peter will let me in because I did teach 1,000 kids to swim when I was in college. So,
Good. Wow, that's awesome.
I know. I'm like, you know. I run a news organization whose nonprofit mission is essentially civic engagement. And I would love to have a celebrity, perhaps somebody like Coach Popovich, to help encourage people to attend the candidate forums that we host and to show up and vote in the mayor and city council races this spring. What suggestions do you have?
Wow. Well, Popovich has been very vocal about certain things, and so I think you might tap into something with him. And you know, I have a lot of friends at the San Antonio Sports Foundation that you know, and
Great organization.
yeah, super nonprofit. And Russ Bookbinder,
Oh, yes, great.
you know, of course, you know, he has
Yeah.
very close relationship with the Spurs and knows Pop well. And Russ is very accessible. So Pop isn't accessible, but Russ is. And so if you go through Russ at the Sports Foundation, maybe, you know,
Gotcha. Thank you.
next cycle, Pops
Yeah.
can be your guy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great suggestion.
Charlene, thanks for the work you do.
Hey.
We're going to go to what I call the wrap-up section. I'm going to show some slides here that Josh told me some key points he wanted to make. First of all, I think if it's in business, politics, entertainment, and particularly in sports, persistence. Could you talk about the role persistence has played in your career?
Yeah, again, like I said earlier, I'm not the smartest, I'm not the strongest, I'm not the most talented, but I just didn't give up. And I just loved what I did. I loved people, and I believed in the message. So I think when you love what you do and you know you're loved and you know it's making a difference, you're going to keep getting back up each day and not giving up.
I didn't ask. Have you tried your hand at fundraising? And
Yes, I did. I was part of a ministry out of college, and I had to fundraise for myself, for my new wife and I didn't do very well. It was very difficult for me to make the ask. I wasn't an Olympian yet. I didn't know if people would believe in me and my little ministry and my little goals. And I just had a very hard time asking for myself. But when I got involved with other groups and I'm much easier to ask for them.
Right.
And so it's just funny how that works. So if I ever get a nonprofit, I know I'll do better for others than myself.
And you're saying too, for celebrities, the research, their values should be in sync with your nonprofit. Their communication style you should do a little vetting.
Yeah, do a little homework. See if see if they've gotten references of who they've worked with before. You should be able to pretty good feel for their authenticity and their values and how they connect with people. So yeah, a little bit of research goes a long way.
Talk about the attitude of gratitude. I might steal that from you. I love that.
Oh, I'm the attitude of gratitude guy. I've been using it in my speeches forever, and I'm thankful for your awesome slides. These are the best slides I've seen in my Zoom meetings this year. But we have so much to be thankful for. I mean, it's easy to focus on some crazy things and some negative things, but if you realize where we are in history, where we are in the world, where we are in our the opportunities and freedoms and affluence and that we enjoy every day, it's unbelievable. And we should go all out every day because we're so thankful for what we've got.
I was going back to hear if there's one thing, Josh sent me some notes, and besides the 5 medals, the records he's still establishing, do you put your pants on one leg at a time?
Oh yeah. Yeah, my wife is.
Do you put your swimsuits on one leg at a time?
My wife is more impressed when I do my laundry and clean up my floor, my laundry from my floor, and do a couple loads of laundry than she is by Olympic medals. So yeah,
everything I touch, I break. Do you have that? I have a touch.
My wife keeps looking at me like if I get more competitive to have a better front yard and front garden for the neighborhood, It's like, why don't you get competitive with your other guys in the neighborhood so we have a nice lawn instead of just being competitive in the pool? And I'm like, geez, give me a break.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
It's Mike Bennett. Can I throw in just a word about Josh's regular guy?
I got to tell you, Josh, I've been trying to get Mike Bennett on the air for a long time. So, Mike, how are you doing? And
I'm doing.
Do we have you?
I'm doing well.
Okay.
It took Josh to get me to do this, but it's a great story. Very quickly, back when we first moved to San Antonio, our younger son was swimming for University of Wisconsin. When he came home each year at Christmas, he worked out with some of the swimmers he knew from SMU, Texas, and so forth at the Blossom Aquatic Center. So he stayed in shape before he went on his winter training deal. He came home a day or two before Christmas from the morning swim, and he said, "Dad, I was in the pool this morning. I was in one end of the pool, far lane." He said, "I kept seeing this old guy at the other end of the pool, just beating the crap out of all of us in the workout." He said, "We all got out of the pool at the end, and that old guy walked down to me and he said, 'I don't know who you are. My name's Josh Davis.'" And Nick said, "Oh, I know exactly who you are, because many years before, Josh had spoken at a swim camp that Nick attended, and Nick got to meet him there when he was like, I don't know, 9, 10 years old." The point is, Josh could have gotten in, done his workout, gotten out and gone home, but he didn't know who the kid was in the last lane. He walked down there and said hello and introduced himself. That's the kind of guy Josh Davis is.
That's awesome. He probably was swimming really good, and I wanted to know who it was. So
well, he was just a little PO'd that you were beating the crap out of him, so he wasn't sure what to do. And he said, "He was a lot older, Dad."
And I said,
Hey,
well,
he got a- he
Nick,
got a, he got a high five for the effort. So that's good.
that's right. Yes, he
Hey,
did.
Mike,
So
let me publicly say
Let
thank
me-
you for the service and leadership you provide the Arc of San Antonio. You're an integral part of our nonprofit infrastructure. Thank you for your leadership.
thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you, Josh, very much.
Appreciate that so much. Tell him hi.
I'll do it.
I
We
was
got
going,
a few minutes left. We could take any last questions. Is that Joel?
Oh,
Joel,
come on, bring one more.
listen to
Joel,
me.
if you didn't buy me so many lunches, I wouldn't give you 3 questions. So you're
Listen
on.
to me.
He's
This
earned it.
attitude of gratitude, this attitude with gratitude is so powerful that they surveyed Vietnam veterans and found that the veterans that had gratitude did not suffer with PTSD. The guys with the gratitude of life do way better than the people who don't.
It's
Hey, I
right
wanted
on.
to
That's a powerful statement about gratitude and attitude.
By the way, I see we have Amy Fairchild. Amy, before we close out, would you want to share a question or a comment when we welcome you to our learning community?
There we go. No, I have just enjoyed, hi, I have just enjoyed listening to you all. I'm with the advancement team out of Western Governors University. And that's why I'm here, to see what you all were about, what I could learn from you, because I have some ideas in my head on how I'd like to move forward with a few ideas.
Well, thank you. WGU is becoming a huge part of our, education fabric. I'm going to sum up, Josh. You hear the word relationships a lot. People like Mike Davis taught me, you don't want relationships, you want friendships. You know what I once heard a relationship defined as? Something you had until something better came along. So we want friendships, and we're saying this is a great time for nonprofits to collaborate. Talking about heroes, who is the only person ever to recite a poem at the presidential inauguration and then a Super Bowl?
It's Amanda.
Amanda Gorman, and she is an inspiration. She started with a speech impediment. Did you know that? She started, and that forced her to fine tune her reading and writing, and then became the only person to simultaneously present or the same month at a inauguration and a Super Bowl. And this is a line from The Hill We Climb. And I think that tells where America is right now. That's where nonprofits are. I think the swimmers you are coaching and inspiring, maybe someday they can get a medal. It's the hill we climb. And it's climbing that hill. It's not necessarily easy, but climbing that hill that makes us who we are. So, Josh, this is an hour that just kind of flew by. I'd like to give a money back guarantee. Your father didn't give a money back guarantee. I give a money back guarantee to all the people in nonprofit world I advise, and that is the more you ask, the more you're going to get. The more you ask, the more you're going to get. Josh Davis, regular guy with 5 Olympic medals, who's the ambassador of swimming, who has swum 4 million laps. But I wonder how many people you've touched with the character building and the physical and finesse building of swimming. So thank you for being our regular guy. We got to give you a warning. When you do such a good job, we invite you back. And also thank you to you and your family. You shared your father with the community. And I don't know, your father touched so many members of the community in so many good ways. I'm a Mike Davis fan first and a Josh Davis fan second.
Good. That's my favorite second place ever. So I love it.
They're used to silvers, right? Silver's
That's right.
not bad.
Silver's good too. Well, Jim,
Okay.
thanks for having me. It's great to meet you guys, and wish everybody all the best. And again, like Joel said, attitude of gratitude. We can do it.
And this is what we're going to do. We're going to post a very short summary on LinkedIn and Facebook. And Michael Argent does his famous spin job. And then we are going to post the recording and slides of this probably somewhere between 6 and 6:15. So everyone, get your shots, remain safe. Thank you for being part of our learning community. And Josh Davis, thank you for being our regular guy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
See y'all next week.